Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and today I'll be doing the handover demonstration on the 2020 Auto Trail Commanche. So as I walk down the driver's side of the vehicle, this one opens with the square Primark key, which is this one here. And then what you need to do is, if you get your fingers in, put your foot underneath and just help it up, and it's on gas struts. And in here you have your two leisure batteries with your two fuses here, which are 20 amp, and you've got your mains connectivity point. So what you do is you slide the collar back, slide the collar on to the hookup point on the van, and then always hook the van up first, then the sight, and then do the opposite when unhooking. That's what we wouldn't want you walking around with a live lead. And then here you'll see is a grey tap. This is your waste tank tap. So anything you put down the plug hole goes into the waste holding tank, and then on the side you'd open it up over a grid and let that out. It's very important that you let this out in the winter as well and leave no water in the vehicle, which I'll go through in stages. You've got storage here as well. This is a great place to keep your hookup lead, your leveling ramps and your other outdoor equipment. And then you've got storage behind your kitchen. You've got your wheel external shower point, so you take this fitting off and it's just like a hose pipe connection, and you get your pipe with your trigger gun on, clip it on there, and then turn the pump on inside the van. And then this is great for the boots or the bikes or the dogs once they've come off the beach or they're muddy. And then you do have a little key here. This locks and unlocks this filler cap, then you can slide it up. And to fill the vehicle with fresh water, so this is your fresh water fill up, you'd put your hose pipe into the groove and allow it to fill until it's either overflowing, until you're happy you've got enough water on board, looking at the control panel above the habitation door, which I'll get onto in a second. Or you do have your point there for your wheel submersible pump, i.e. if you can't get a hose pipe to the vehicle but you can get a bucket of water or an aqua roll, you put your 12 volt pump in there, your hose pipe in there, then drop the pump into the water. Turn tank fill on in the settings on the control panel, which I'll show you when I'm inside, and you'll be able to suck the water on board. At the back you do have, this is your fresh water drain off point, so you'd open the tap again over a grid and allow this to drain off on a site. If you're on your drive or in a storage yard, you can just open that, it's just fresh water. You've got your Aldi boiler vent there, and then you do have your garage. In this corner here is where your boiler drain is, so if I just put the torch on there, you'll see the yellow toggle which is standing up. What you can do is you can, standing up means the boiler's open and it's allowing the 10 litres of water to directly drain underneath the vehicle. If it was to be lying down like so, it's holding the water. In the winter months it's very important that you winterize the vehicle. You allow all the water out, fresh waste boiler, as if the water was to freeze in the boiler. It's very expensive to replace and isn't covered under any warranty, unfortunately. So you would just flick it up so it stands on end like so, and you'll see the water draining directly underneath the vehicle of 10 litres. Open the fresh and waste outside, open all the taps within the vehicle, all the mixer taps, and remove the shower head and allow the shower hose to lie in the shower tray to stop any build up of water in there. You'll also notice you've got your tethering points on the floor, and you do have a light on the other side of the garage. And then to operate these locks, there's a little groove here, a little line, you'll feel it. Turn the line to the back of the motorhome, which means it's shut. Then use the round headed key like so, quarter of a turn, so you do a quarter of, so you turn it, quarter of a turn, and you tap it, and then that is it locked. And then if you put the key in and do the opposite, the lock will pop back out. At the back of the vehicle you've got your high level brake light, and then your reversing camera, and to access your spare wheel, which is behind this panel here, you use the key, remove this Auto Trail badge. There's a big nut and take the panel off. Now coming down the passenger side of the vehicle, you've got your garage other access door. You've got your wheel external barbecue point there with the spigot which connects to the bottom. You will need a Jubilee clip and some gas hosing to connect your barbecue to it, or your external Kadak. Clips in there, and then you turn the gas on and off, and this uses the gas bottle that's on board the vehicle instead of carrying a spare for your barbecue. You've got your toilet cassette, so your toilet's in here. Again, you'd open it, use a round-headed key to open the toilet. Cassette locker. Make sure the blade's closed and you'll be able to lift the orange handle and slide it out. You then do have some wheels so you can carry it and you can drag it instead of carrying it when it's full. Take the cap off and expose it like so. Go to your waste disposal point, press the button to tip it out. Once you've tipped it out, put some water in and give it a rinse. And then use the cap, so you've got a grey cap that goes on the end of here. Use it as a measuring stick, so a cap falls straight into here and it's ready to go back into the vehicle. If you didn't use the chemical, you can use the tablet form, and you put a pint of water in and drop a Fetford toilet tab down the toilet into the cassette, and it'll break up into the liquid as long as there's a pint of water in there. 2 fridge vents and your awning light. You have storage underneath the locker there, and this is a plug just here, so you've got a 3-pin plug when hooked up, so if you want power in the awning you'd get your power from there with the locker down. And then you've got your gas locker, so LPG, liquid petroleum gas, and just in here on this lever here is how you'd, it's on a cable, the door, so it would open up, and in there you can see we've got a 6kg gas bottle on there. You can fit 2 in. What you need to do is it's a left hand thread, and then you will need a gas spanner or an adjustable wrench to nip that up, and then you turn the bottle on and press the green button for 3 seconds, which allows the gas through the crash valve into the vehicle, and then you press this one here which will stay in. Obviously make sure the bottle's securely strapped in when you're travelling and turned off. On the door of the, just behind the door of the passenger door, you do have your diesel filler which works with the Fiat key, so it's a lockable diesel cap. And then underneath, because it's a Euro 6D compliant engine, it's got AdBlue solution, and this is a 20 litre tank, and once it needs AdBlue it will let you know between the fuel and temperature gauge. But this is it'll normally be a one job you do for the year if you do a lot of miles, so it's between 5,000 and 6,000 miles it will need AdBlue. On this time panel you do have your tyre size, and as it's a Commanche it's a tag axle, so it's got 3 axles. So your first axle is 5.5 bar, your second axle is 3.8 bar, and your third axle is 3.8 bar. These are your tyre pressures for your tag axle. And then just under here you do have your toolkit, which is a jack and a brace and a torn eye, everything you need to change your wheel. Underneath the floor is your engine battery, which is just located underneath the floor there, underneath that panel. And this is your bonnet release on the side of the passenger dashboard. So if we just go around and have a look quickly underneath the bonnet. First of all, you've got your Alco weight plate, which is same to your Auto Trail, as it's an Alco chassis on Frontier model, so it's 5 tonne gross vehicle weight. You can tow a tonne behind it should you get a tow bar, so the train weight can't exceed 6 tonne. You've got your paint code for the Grigio aluminium, then you've got your brake fluid, your radiator fluid, your power steering fluid. The cover above lifts off to top them up, and then you do have your washer jet fluid, so you'd lift this off to top up the power steering and coolant. Oil filler and dipstick, earth for a jump start, and then if you use your key just pop it in this cover here and lift it up. Underneath is a contact for the positive for giving or receiving a jump start. So once inside the vehicle, you've got your main control panel here. First of all, if you're hooked up, you'll have the little electricity symbol at the top there. If not, you will just be running off your leisure batteries, which are 12 volt. Then you've got your main master switch here, which you turn on, which will either give you 240 or 12 volt. Got all your lights within the vehicle, and then they all are individually switched. in various parts. You've got your pump, which you put on for your water, so your exterior shower, your kitchen sink, your boiler, your taps within the vehicle. Obviously don't put that on if you haven't got a lot of water like we have, because it's a pitch vehicle, so we haven't got any water in at the moment as it's the winter. And then you've got your exterior awning light, your dimmers, which dim the light underneath the lockers there. So if you just press and hold, they'll be able to dim it, which is this light up here. And then you do have your water level readings, and below your water you have your battery. So your vehicle battery is 13.9 volts, your engine battery is 13.9 volts. The active battery, which always should be your leisure, it does say vehicle, I'll swap that in a moment. It should never be a vehicle, it should be a leisure, and that's bringing 2.7 amp. Your mains current that's coming in off the hookup is 4.8 amp, and the solar panel is 0.2. The solar panel will go to sleep when it's hooked up to mains, because the mains is bringing in the bigger voltage of charge. Then if we go to the settings, your active battery should be your leisure. Turn off smart, because smart will allocate both batteries and watch them, and then once it analyzes both of them, it will change over to whichever one has the better charge in it, and that's not something you want. You always want your active battery to be your leisure battery to run the motorhome side, otherwise it could flatten the engine battery. The vehicle battery on the solar select is on smart and vehicle, so if it's stood up like it is on the forecourt at the moment, the charge that it gets off the solar panel is going direct to the engine battery. But smart means it analyzes both of them, and does crossover to whichever one needs it. You've got your tank fill here, so like I said about filling from an aqua roll, you turn that on and that would send 12 volt to the pump, and then the pump will kick in and suck the water into the vehicle. And you've got your tank heaters below, which is for if it's going to be a cold frosty night overnight, put them on. It puts current through the water to stop the water from freezing in the tanks below, because the tanks are just plastic, so if you just pop them on, it'll stop them from freezing. If you move along, you've got your light settings. So here you've got your dimmer level, which you can change by plus and minus. You've got your screen timeout, so you've got your how bright this panel is and how long, if you don't touch it, it will just go blank. And you've got your date and time, and then that brings us back to the end. Across from it, this is the Aldi heating system control panel. So if you press to turn on, you'll get this screen here, and then if you just press menu, at the top you've got the picture of the house with a thermometer in. This is how hot you want your motorhome to be. It can be all the way to off or all the way to 30 degrees as it is now. And then below you've got the picture of the shower. The shower is water, so how hot you want your water to be. You've got half a bar, which is 40 degrees, or you've got a full black bar, which is 60 degrees of heating your water. By the electricity sign, you've got a plus and a minus, so you can have it off if you're not hooked up. You have it on 1 kilowatt of heating the motorhome and water, 2 kilowatts of heating the motorhome and water, which you kind of use all the way in the UK, as long as they're giving you that kind of output on the site, which most of them do. Or you can have 3 kilowatts of power. You may have to use 1 kilowatt of power if you're drawing too much power. So say you've got something on inside the motorhome, i.e. a kettle or a toaster, or you're abroad, you may have to turn it down to stop the motorhome from tripping. And below you've got your gas flame there, so you can turn the gas side on. So you can have the electric and gas on together. Should it be too cold, it'll heat the motorhome up in a reasonable time, a lot quicker than just having the electric on by itself. Or if you didn't have electric, you can have it on gas, i.e. if you're wild camping. You can then go into the settings and put timers on and things, and change your fan settings, but I'll not complicate it for start. This is all explained in your handbooks, and there's loads of videos on the Aldi heating system. So take any remaining shopping and items out the fridge and freezer. Then what you want to do is you want to get some bacteria spray, so antibac like Dettol or some wipes, and clean the fridge out. Then you don't want to close the door, because if you close the door fully, it will seal that air within the fridge. So if you just lift it up, and there's a little toggle here, and if you lift that one up, and there's a little toggle there. If you then just put these toggles into the little hole on the latch, it then allows air in and out the fridge and freezer, so it will stop any mold and bacteria growing in your fridge. Your microwave, your Russell Hobbs microwave, is only on 240 volts, so you've got to be hooked up to work this. It isn't a 12 volt microwave, and the plug is just in here, your media center, which I'll get onto in a moment when we talk about the media center. And underneath your fridge you just have storage and an Aldi pipe, so do be careful with that pipe, but you've got storage underneath. Across from there you've got your kitchen area, so you do have storage in here with your slide out rack for your various bits and pieces, your herbs and your spices. And then across from here next to the fridge, before we talk further on the kitchen, this is your folding table, which you can have in the lounge or outside should it be a nice day, and it's basically like putting an ironing board up how we operate this. You've got 3 gas rings and 1 electric hot plate, only works when you are hooked up. You've got your grill. I would advise taking the grill pan out when you're travelling or wrapping it up, as this can be the main cause of the rattling. And then you've got your oven, and always make sure these 2 grooves are at the back, because this stops the burner from being blocked. Storage in there, and underneath, if you just push this in, you do have your plug in there for your electric hot plate, and you do have your gas tap. So you've got a fridge, a barbecue, a hot water and heating, and your oven and grill. So should you have any problems with gas, to be safe, turn the bottle off and use electric if you can. But these are mainly for when the vehicle is serviced in line with the gas inspection that it needs every year. So now in the bedroom, you've got your island bed from on the Delaware. If you lift the mattress, you'll see that you've got storage in the various compartments here, and obviously these boxes are designed to hold the mattress. You've got your wardrobes, so you've got hanging rails on both sides of the bed, so here and over there. But this is your Aldi expansion tank, so this holds antifreeze liquid as this runs through the pipes on the Aldi, as it's like a central heating system at home and not a blown air system, so it goes through the fins of the radiator. When you think you need to top this up, what you need to do is you always need to run the system up first, because when the system's cold and off, it'll show very close to minimum, but then when it's at temperature and this liquid's hot, it will show higher than what it's showing when it's off. So you might think, oh, I need to top that up. Don't. Run it up first, then when it's at optimum temperature, so your vehicle's lovely and warm, come and check this, and I guarantee it'll show close to max, because if you topped it up when it was off, you'll actually take it over the maximum limit. But if you ever do need to top it up, you just lift this cover off, open that nut there, and top it up with Aldi antifreeze. You do have a breather pipe there as well for the liquid, and then that cap just clips back on there. You've got your lights beside your bed, so that there's underneath and above, and then you've got your individual reading lights on both sides of the beds. Storage, so always pull out to open the cupboards. USB on that side, and a 230 socket just down here. So twin USBs, and then in this one you do have a hanging rail, and there is your carpets on this model. operate the window, open the tabs, push out, and to keep it out you just tighten the black wheels, obviously loosen them off. You'll be able to bring it in, and always make sure when shutting it, it goes to the last lip here, as if not, you're putting the window on a lock, and it just keeps it open that little bit for that circulation. Fly screen, and blackout blinds, and the clip here, so you just unclip them to depart the blinds. So in the back of the Commanche you've got your island bed, and at this side you put your wardrobes. You've got wardrobes on both sides, but you do have your Aldi expansion tank. So with your Aldi expansion tank, it holds antifreeze liquid, and what you need to do is you need to, as you can see, you've got a min and a max on there. So when the heating system is off, it will read lower than what it is when it's on. So what you need to do before topping it up is put it on and see when the level gets high enough. Once the vehicle is at temperature, it will show where it's at. Then you would assess if it's too low or too high, and you would top it up. As if you topped it up when it was off, you may take it over the maximum level. To top up, you'd go at the top there and you'd remove this plastic cover, and there you do have a nut, so you take the cap off and fill with Aldi antifreeze liquid. On the other side of the bed you do have a 12 volt, so twin 12 volt here, and 230 volt socket, and another wardrobe. To open your skylight, you press, slide along, you slide it into the groove. Should it be a nice day for ventilation, it'll keep it open, but do make sure all your windows and fly screens, or should I say windows and windows and skylights are closed before you start travelling. You do have a fly screen and a blackout blind on there. So your bathroom door there, it acts as your bathroom door and also your bedroom door. And on this side you have your shower screens, so they are just magnetic. And then you've got a hanging rail there for your wet towels, which is also great if you've been caught in the rain with the dog or out on the bikes. Put some hangers on there and hang your wet clothes in there, and they'll drip dry. But like I was saying about the shower head, if you remove the shower head from the shower hose, as you can see, it's got a loop in there, so any water will coil and sit in here and potentially freeze, and then you would need a new shower hose. And leave the shower head and mixer tap open during the winterization process, along with all your other taps. And on this side you have your toilet. So your bathroom lights here first of all, and you've got toiletry space here and here for your toiletries, and then to operate your Fetford toilet. So what you need to do is you need to press this blue button. It will flush the toilet. Flush the toilet first to lubricate the blade. Then you've got the grey lever on the bottom bowl of the toilet, which is the blade opener. Push it to the right, opens the blade. Use the toilet. After you've used the toilet, if you flush it, and then what you need to do is close the blade, which then isolates the blade, and you'll get a light on here. This wheel will go red to indicate that the cassette is full and requires to come out the vehicle and be emptied. But like I say, make sure that's closed. If that's open, that's why the cassette won't come out the side of the vehicle. Above, to open your skylight, you just press, slide along, or you can put it into the groove should it be a nice day and you want a bit of ventilation. And then you do have a fly screen and a blackout blind. And this skylight is the same as the one over the bed, so it opens the same way as well. And then on the Delaware, you've got your new media center on all Frontier product. So you would get your remote, turn it on, press to just underneath the Avtex logo, and there's a light. Once it goes blue, the TV comes on. Then what you need to do is to retune the telly each time you go. So once I've set the TV up, so you can connect it to a network as it's a smart TV. Freeview telly, if it's got a satellite system on, you can put it on the satellite as it's satellite ready, this TV. Should you buy it with a Freeview and think you want a satellite system fitted, you can do, as it's a satellite ready TV. Press EQT, and as you can see, it's doing a auto tune to find as many channels as it can. If not, you can press source and you can change it between HDMI, and you can obviously go into your Freeview player and your various apps on the smart side. But there isn't a DVD in them, so you'd have to use HDMI, i.e. your Fire Stick or Now TV Stick or Netflix on the Wi-Fi if you didn't have TV signal. To make your beds on the front lounge, what you need to do is you need to lift and slide, and then there's a leg here which you'd slide down, and do exactly the same, lift, slide and put the leg down, and then use the backrest cushions, pop them into place there, and pop this one into place. Turn the base cushions upside down, and there you have your double bed made for on an evening. In the lounge, in the cupboards above on your driver's side, in this one you've got your TV booster, so you can min and max the signal should you be struggling to get a TV reception. And in the one just behind the driver's seat, you do have your system shutdown button, your charger on 240 volt, and your heating and hot water on 240 volt, which heating and hot water is then controlled from your Aldi control panel. You've got your 12 volt fuses, which are all listed here of which does which, so I would carry some spare standard blade fuses with you, which you can get from any reputable car garage, i.e. Halfords, suppliers, Euro car parts, that sort of people. Your build number, which is unique to your vehicle, so should you ever need parts, just quote that number, and then we'll quote it to Autotrail, or whoever you get your parts from will get in touch with Autotrail, give that number, and they'll know what part was fitted to your vehicle, when it was built, and which model it is. And then you do have twin USBs in here for charging as well. You've got a light here which does that light there on the step, which is your night light, and then you do have your lights above the luton area, as this is a low line, and then your individually switched reading lights. To open the large roof light on the Frontier range, just turn the tabs, get the winding handle, and then you can wind it open like so. So it's open, and you can wind it closed, and then once you wind it closed, if you do, lock it back into place, and then you do have a fly screen on there and a blackout blind for on an evening to black the motorhome out. And then underneath your head unit you do have your climate control, so you've got your temperature on the outside ring, fan speed on the in, must be on at least one or more for the aircon to work, which the light comes on like so. And then you've got your distribution, so where you want it to go to, either your screen, your face, your feet, or both. Then you've got recirculating air within the motorhome, or bringing fresh air in. Above it is fitted with the Accent head unit as part of the media pack, which is the XF270 unit. You put your map card up in here, and then your navigation will work. You've got radio, which is FM, AM, or you can go to home and you can go to DAB. So you can go to your list, you can find your national, then Tyne and Wear channels, which is our regional stations as we're in Newcastle upon Tyne, and then you've got your national and BBC national. Click preset and you can save your favourite DAB stations, along with you can do exactly the same on the FM and AM. And you do have an FM button here to cross over should you not be able to find a signal on DAB. got Bluetooth, so you go to Bluetooth, and then you would find on your device XN F7270. Press pair on the head unit, and then it'll ask you if you want to allow your contacts to be synced from your phone to the head unit. Press yes, then you can sync your phone book in, so it will come up with a name instead of just a number if the contact is saved on your smart device. You've got USB, iPod and Android link, which in the top glove box there you've got 2 USBs, so you can connect through there. And then you've got your camera here, so if you wanted your camera on when driving forward as a rear view mirror, you can press camera and have that on. And if you look at the bottom, you've got shortcuts. You've got home, navigation, cam, which is your camera, DAB, which is your radio, and Bluetooth. And you've got your volume and on off here, so you can press and hold to turn off. This box here is cooled and heated by the air conditioning, and the one below is just a glove box. You do have cup holders in the middle there as well, and to turn your seats round into the rear from your travelling seats, you just turn round on this pin here, so, and then turn the seat round, so you've got your locking pins here for your seat. If it got stuck on the door or the pillar of the back of the door, you just adjust the driving position, either pull it forward on the seat runner or push it back. That now brings us on the end of the video of the handover on the Auto Trail Frontier Delaware, which is a 2021 model. Should you have any questions, feel free to contact Time Valley Motorhomes on 01207 272 777 or email our sales department at sales@timevalleymotorhomes.co.uk. Thank you for watching this handover tutorial.